This is the Dairy Brothers Tribecast, a podcast for diehard Cleveland Indians fans. Presented to you by WaitingForNextYear.com. Now, here are the hosts, Matt and Todd Dairy.
Trade deadline day has come and gone. A special edition of the Dairy Brothers Tribecast from WaitingForNextYear.com. Thank you for listening, everybody. Matt and Todd with you. A huge day for the Tribe. Not a surprise. As predicted by one Todd W. Dairy. The Cleveland Indians have traded Mike Clevinger. We'll go over all of it, who the players are, the haul coming back from San Diego. Plus, Tribe is in first place after taking 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals. Our observations from what happened last week. Pitching matchups for this week as the Indians are in Kansas City, then home for the Brewers. We're brought to you by the Center for Advanced Dentistry and by BreakingT.com. Congratulations, Todd. You said last week, you got half of it right. You said Clevinger would never pitch again for the Indians. He only pitched one start, but yet he gone.
I said 2 weeks ago he'd never throw a pitch again. I said last week he was 100% getting traded. And the only reason he pitched again is because they needed a starter, and obviously they were really pissed at Plesac, more so than they were pissed at Clevinger. But the entire time that I was making that prediction, and I was that was just a feeling I had. But then I started reaching out to my people, and I was told, yeah, they do not want him around. Okay, so for the people that were out there calling me high, a moron, an idiot, I got 2 words for you. Yeah. So anyway,
what are you, DX? I love it.
Yeah,
and by the way, I don't agree with you. I don't think they were more pissed at Plesac. I think they were showcasing Clevinger, and they were showcasing Greg Allen too this week. I mean, he was playing a ton. It's like, why is Lomax starting every game? But now we figured out why they shipped him off too.
Yeah. Well, in the end, Clevinger, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. He was always being traded this winter, anyways. His arbitration number was going to jump. He had 2 years left, arbitration eligibility, and this was the peak time to trade him. He was, 31 years old. He's not getting any younger, but this was going to be the peak time to trade him. So you just speed that up. You go to a team like the Padres, who the Indians know that system better than any other system that they have. This is 3 years in a row now that they've made a major trade with A.J. Preller's club. And so if there's any team in the majors that Chris Antonetti and Mike Chernoff and the scouts have looked at the most, it's the Padres. So this makes a lot of sense. I'll let you talk about the particulars, and then we can break it down.
Yeah, no question about it. I feel like I'm Kenny Rhoda doing a KNR update here. So it's an old school reference for some of you.
What about Jimmy Christopher?
WKNR Sports. Shout out, by the way, to 92.3 The Fan. We got to give you equal time. All right, so the Indians trade Mike Clevinger. They send Greg Allen and a player to be named later, and I forgot, I read somewhere where somebody thinks it's some relief pitcher from the minors, to the Padres in exchange for 3 major leaguers. Josh Naylor, who has been a first baseman, DH outfielder for the Padres. He's DH'd a little bit this year because San Diego, of course, has the DH. Everybody does. Right-handed starter who's turned into a reliever over the last year, Cal Quantrill, the son of former big league reliever and Blue Jays reliever Paul Quantrill. And their starting catcher, basically, Austin Hedges, who hasn't hit much but has been really good defensively. But the Padres are overhauling their catching situation and have acquired 2 other catchers in 2 other trades, including getting Austin Nola from the Mariners. Then you throw in 3 prospects. Shortstop Gabriel Arias, left-handed pitcher Joey Cantillo, and second baseman shortstop Owen Miller. I think Miller was the number 11 prospect, Cantillo 9, and Arias 7. So you didn't get, some of the bigger name guys like Mackenzie Gore or CJ, what's his name? The shortstop, his last name escapes me. That was their number 2 prospect.
Abrams.
C.J. Abrams, thank you. No relation to Shaw Abrams or Mike Abrams here in Detroit. But you look at the haul, and it's a lot of people, Todd, are saying quantity over quality. Look, the bottom line is, did the Indians get better today for this season where they can make a run? They needed an outfielder desperately, and that's what Naylor is going to provide them. The question is, can he get it done? Would I have rather had Trent Grisham? Yes. Would I have rather had Jake Rake Cronenworth, as they're calling him? Yes. But you get Josh Naylor, and he's okay. I'm not doing backflips over this deal. I like it, but I'm not going crazy. What about you?
I kind of feel the same way. I thought when they initially made this trade that this was going to be – they added 3 prospects along with the 3 guys they're going to put on the Major League club. I'm with you. Naylor is fine. I don't love him. I mean, he, was once a top 100 guy. There's definitely some upside there. He looks a little big to me. And again, I don't love him. He's fine. Let's see what he's like every day in left field. Put it this way. He can't be any worse than the crap that they've been putting out.
Oh my gosh! I mean, and Domingo Santana DFA'd. I mean, what? About time. Terrible.
Yeah.
The guy was hitting 150. Come on.
It was no good. So they're going to play Bo Naylor every day out there in left field. Let him sink or swim this last month and see how it goes. They also, it's his brother Bo was a former Indians first round pick 2 years ago. So he's reunited in the franchise with his brother, which is pretty cool. But the guy that I'm most excited about, well, let's just talk about the 3 major league pieces. I think Cal Quantrill will be great in the pen as another guy, especially this year. Hard thrower, again, was another, top tier prospect. He was a
number one pick. Yeah, number one pick. So, he could be he's been really good for the Padres in the bullpen this year. So they'll put him back there. They'll probably DFA Dominic Leone or something at some point. Probably tomorrow. wouldn't shock me. So that's a good addition, and I know that he was once a starting pitcher, and it's possible that I know Chris Antonetti had said just after we started recording this that he's going to be an immediate impact in the bullpen, but he could be a starter down the road. And then Austin Hedges, while is not hitting very well, obviously, neither is Sandy Leone. Sandy Leone isn't defending well, it's time for Sandy to be DFA'd. And so Austin Hedges is a A-plus defender, great framer, so he gets high marks as a backup catcher. He's very Roberto Perez-ish. He's got some pop in there if he can get to it, but he's prolonged to these long slumps. 2017, he had 17 homers. I mean, so it's in there. So I'm fine with those 3. I just was hoping that this was going to be piece trade number 1, and they'd spin off a couple of these prospects to potentially get someone like a Starling Marte for the outfield. But alas, that did not happen. So here we are. And as for the minor league pieces, I'm very intrigued with Cantillo, left-handed pitcher. They love him. Supposedly the front office loves him, which is good. And then Arias was another top 100 guy. Here's the thing. I saw a lot of this. Ooh, how come we didn't get one of their top 5 prospects? Correct.
Here's the thing.
That's true.
On these, if the Padres weren't so deep, Arias is like a top 3 guy on anybody else's prospect list. They have the deepest system in baseball. So, these guys are who are, I believe Arias was, I think they were 7, 9, and 10 or something like that.
7, 9, and 11.
7, 9, and 11. These are top 5 guys in other, in less deep organizations. So, and I think that this front office has certainly, they deserve the benefit of the doubt on getting prospects. So, especially pitchers. And, they have a type that they like, and Cantillo falls right into that, and so does Quantrill. So I'm hoping, Arias is only 20. He was in high A last year. You're hoping that in 2 years between him and Tyler Freeman, one of the two will make their way and become the shortstop of the future. So there's that. And Owen Miller's an intriguing piece, too, second base shortstop type. I saw him compared to Ben Zobrist, who every time I see his name, I want to vomit.
Oh, God.
But, yeah. So that's kind of where I am. If you ask me, am I excited by it? Are we that much better? Are we better than we were before this trade. Are the Indians better than they were before? I don't know if they're better. I mean, I don't think they're any worse. I mean, you add a bullpen piece in Quantrill. You're upgrading slightly. At a minimum, you're upgrading in the outfield. Hopefully Naylor's finally getting his chance to be an everyday player and will show it. And you're upgrading at backup catcher. You lose Clevinger, but he's only made 4 starts in the short season, and he's pitched once in the last month. So is it that? I mean, I feel like it's an upgrade because I feel like he's been gone forever.
Well, right. And here's the thing. Mike Clevinger was very good now for the last 4 years. He gave the Indians a ton of innings. He got outs. You know, at one point he's hit 97, 98 as a starter and really came on and became a top 10, as some people would like to call him, pitcher in the league. And he's your number 2 starter easily in this rotation behind Shane Bieber. And, you can make the argument, and I say Andrew Siciliano kind of tweeted about this, Tribe fan, of course, in the NFL Network, that, are the Indians really any better? And have they, here's a team in first place going for it, and they might have stunted the growth for this season. I could see that argument because, like I said, if you told me they got Grisham or they got Cronenworth or they traded for Joey Gallo and traded Clevinger, then we'd be like, wow. Now, adding anybody to put in left field is a warm body compared to the Luplow, Greg Allen, Domingo Santana, Bradley Zimmer, Delino DeShields. They've tried everything. And I know DeShields is playing center mostly, but it's been horrible. And 7 through 9, and we'll get into talking about Tyler Naquin because he's been the best player on the team.
You mean the best outfielder on the team by leaps and bounds?
It's not even close. So you had to try something in somebody else. You're right. In Naylor, and you know me, we've talked about an executive producer, Jeremy, will chastise me for this, but we've talked about Team D's, my NL-only fantasy team.
No, we're fine. We're all good with the NL-only fantasy team. We just don't like the Detroit references.
You mean unnamed? The unnamed team. The unnamed team helping. Unnamed team helping the Tribe out this weekend by sweeping the Twins out of nowhere. But
winners of 5 in a row. All right.
Yeah. Back to 500. Buy, sell. Let's buy. I can't believe they didn't trade Jonathan Scope because you could have got something for him, but whatever. They did trade Cameron Maben to the Cubs for a bag of Portillo's French fries, or a sandwich from Manny's. Remember Manny? You used to take me to Manny. You took me to Manny's. That place was great. Is that place still open?
Of course. Are you kidding?
What a great,
the best.
What a great spot.
Tony Houston III used to serve us up. I used to get that corned beef cut up into the chef salad. It was unbelievable. Turkey pastrami.
That's
all
good
right,
stuff.
sorry, we're off the rails.
What about the Wiener Circle? Is that still open?
That's the most overrated place it's tourist central.
No. There's one worse.
Cool
There's
one. 23 years old.
There's one worse. Ed DeBevick's. That's worse. Come on.
Well, that doesn't exist. I don't think that exists anymore.
Remember that place? All right. Anyway, so my point is like Naylor's 23. I've watched him because of fantasy. I've never picked him up because maybe I had him last year, but rarely played. He's underwhelmed, and he's now being traded for the second time. This was a guy that also was a first-round pick, and he's a little, like you said, he's a little heavy. But if he can run into a few, if he can just, his OBP is pretty good. But again, you're not asking Josh Naylor to come in and hit 4th or 3rd. He's hitting 7th, so that's not bad. Like you said, we like Quantrill. I mean, he'll come in and be an upgrade in the pen. That's good. You can never have enough pen arms. And, Hedges will be better than Leone. But as far as impact, you're trading away your number 2. That means when Plesac comes up and he'll pitch Tuesday, he's got to be good. That means Carrasco's got to look like he's looked Saturday against St. Louis.
It was very good. It was good to see, and it was a real important thing for this team because now that Clevinger's gone, Carrasco's got to be the guy.
Right. I mean, if you started a playoff series, a best of 3, and at the start of the year it was, we know Bieber and Clevinger are 1-2. Now, who's your number 2 guy? Who is it? If you had to say today, If I
had to say today, Tito/Sandy would be going to Carrasco over Savali just because he's been there.
I guess.
And you know what, though? But that's today. For all we know, by the way, Zach Meisel has just announced that our boy Zach Plesac will be starting tomorrow night in Clevinger's spot. That took a long time. So anyways, for all we know, if Plesac comes back and doesn't miss a beat and is the same guy he was that first month before he decided he wanted to go and hang out with his friends instead of being a team player, then he's the number 2 guy, I would say. He was pitching the best. Look at his numbers before they sent him out. He's been incredible. So, but yes, as of today, the answer is probably Carrasco because he's pitched in bigger games and been in that situation. But Savali would have to be a close second. Here, if you asked me yesterday before Savali started yesterday, I would have said him.
Right, probably. There's good. It's a good problem to have. There's good depth. Hopefully the Indians secure whether it's the division or a playoff spot, and they can line the rotation up at the end of the year in early October to make that decision. You never know. It may end up being they got to go by how it goes. Who knows how it's going to go at the end of the year. But the bottom line is that the deal was made and we got to live with it. But this is also where the Indians are, as a franchise, because they are sellers when it comes to finances. That's just the way it's going to be. And whether it's angry fans here or there, Dolan's cheap, Dolan's got to sell. This is the way it's going to be. If you think Carlos Santana's coming back next year at $17 million, you're crazy. Brad Hand's $10 million option will not be picked up. Anybody that's making any money, probably Lindor included, are going to be gone next year because they're not pulling in Gates, they're not pulling in hot dog and beer money. And people say, well, why'd you trade Clevinger? Well, a lot of reasons, including what you pointed out is history in the locker room here, and I think Tito, the Godfather, probably spoke and said, get this guy out of here, similar to Bauer. But a lot of this is finances, too. He would have made $8 million last year or next year, and now that's off the books.
Yeah, and, you bring up the Santana contract. He wouldn't catch $17 million on the open market anyway, so they could not pick up his option and bring him back at a 1-year deal for less money. That's either here nor there.
Maybe he'll give us a hometown discount.
Right, you're right, and that's the thing is now you're looking at the rotation of these 5 guys that are basically. Carrasco makes money, obviously, and I personally think that Carrasco is one of these Indians for life. He's been in this organization for 11 years. Okay, I don't think he's going anywhere. He took a lesser. He's taken 2 contracts for lesser than market value because he loves it here. I think he's here. But you're looking at the next year, it's going to be the same 5 guys, Bieber, Plesac, Carrasco, Savali, and McKenzie. And this actually says a lot about, this trade tells me a lot about what they think about Tristan McKenzie, because if they were not confident in him, I don't know if they would be willing to go the rest of this year with him in the rotation. But obviously they like what they see, and we enjoyed what we had seen so far. And I know this weekend it was like 100% humidity, and he struggled to get through.
He threw a lot of pitches. Yeah.
But I still really like what I see. But this team's going to be built around the cheap, controllable pitching, and hopefully timely hitting. And this trade was made because you're doing it's just like the last 2 trades they made with the Padres too. It's you're getting yourself pieces that are going to help you now and in the future, and they're doing the unthinkable, which is you're trying to compete and rebuild and reload at the same time. And it's like next to impossible to do, yet they're continuing to do it. It's incredible. If they get to a point where one of these years, all of a sudden the plan blows up and there's 60 and 100, 62 and 100 or something, then fine. But this is 8 straight years of competing or being in the postseason. The Indians are playing in October this year. It's going to happen. So I don't love, like we talked about with the trade, I don't love it, but they're building something. They do these things this way. It's always been this way. And these people that don't understand it, I truly do not understand why. If you can't understand what they do and how they do it, then you shouldn't be a fan. That's and at this point,
right?
Don't give me this. Don't complain. This is how you do it. If you don't like it, we don't need you.
But I do think that, obviously there's the angry Twitter mob and there's the Nick Finks of the world that don't like anything they do. The owner needs to have a secondary source of income. That person, John Sherman, is no longer around. He's in Kansas City owning his own team, and its payroll is going to come down. And unfortunately, with the pandemic and everything else, and like I said, not having fans in the seats, let's say you get some playoff gates. Those won't be what they. You got to make like a long run to get the TV money and hope for that. This is what it is.
That's why they're playing. You're right, though, and that's the one thing why MLB is pressing through all these COVID cases and continuing to play is because they just got to get to October to get that TV money.
It's huge. Those playoff contracts are enormous, and the ad revenue and everything else with eyeballs being on it, and this thing's wide open. They added teams. People are like, well, they added teams for competitive. No, they didn't. They added more teams to make more money. That's what they did. Because they don't have to. Yeah. You don't have to add additional. You don't have to bring in the workers and all that for playoff games because they're still not going to have any fans in the stands. So, look, bottom line is this: Josh Naylor has to hit. Quantrill's going to have to do his thing in the bullpen. Hedges, whatever, if he hits 200. I mean, Sandy Leon, his problem was catcher's interference and running through stop signs, but. The bottom line is this team is still loaded when it comes to starting pitching. And that's what wins. I mean, yeah, the Indians put up some great numbers on Friday and 14 runs in St. Louis. But again, they only gave up 2, So they still have a really good staff. The White Sox wanted pitching, didn't get it. The Twins were looking for pitching, didn't get it. And now all of a sudden
it's very interesting that neither of those teams added any pitching. The White Sox I'm most surprised about because that's a good team. And They are right there they are dead even with us. And the Twins, the Indians, and the White Sox are all dead even. And this is a year where anybody could win the World Series. If you're the White Sox and you could get someone pitching strongly behind Giolito, I mean, I'm sorry, Dallas Keuchel, I don't buy. I mean, if they could have gone out and added like Lance Lynn, for example, who's I reluctantly say is having another great year, I'm just very surprised that they didn't do something like that. And the Twins are not going anywhere with that pitching staff. You and I watched 3 games this week where the Indians took 2 out of 3. Other than Kenta Maeda, the Indians pretty much had no problems with hitting that team. When the Indians are scoring 6 runs and 4 runs against you, that tells me something. A little bit.
Yeah,
and they kept trotting out guys in the pen that were C- also.
Well, here's the other thing, too, about this trade deadline today. And Matt and Todd with you, Dairy Brothers Tribecast, waitingfornextyear.com. By the way, if you don't subscribe to the podcast, please do. And also leave us a review on iTunes, like 5 stars, 1 star. Who cares? Leave us a review. We could use it. I'm surprised they didn't add another outfielder. I saw Kevin Pillar got traded to, was it Colorado by the Red Sox?
Yes.
I didn't want Jackie Bradley Jr. Or his jackpot wad. I wouldn't have wanted that. Dun, 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 dun. But I mean, to me, Delino DeShields, great guy, runs down a ball in center field. But my goodness, base running is not his forte. He's fast, but he slides too early. The base running over the weekend, the Saturday base running was bizarre on both sides.
Saturday's game itself was neither team deserved to win.
Right.
It was one of the ugliest games I can ever remember.
Gritty-ass win, but my God. But I am surprised they didn't add another bat. Of course, on the show last week, I predicted Alex Dickerson, and, I went over. I took the collar on that one, but I thought there'd be one more bat added, not in the Clevinger deal or something small. I don't know if Mercado's coming back up. I don't know what the plan is. Obviously, now they DFA'd Domingo, and they're going to have to bring somebody else up. Are they really going to carry 3 catchers?
I think Leon will be DFA'd. I've been told that Oscar is going to be back up soon, if not by tomorrow. So I was really hoping for when I reached out to a couple people, and I'm looking for Daniel Johnson. I think it's give Daniel Johnson a shot to play center field a little bit. I mean, come on. Zimmer's been terrible, so he's lost his shot. Mercado was really, really struggling, but so I would have given Daniel Johnson a legitimate shot.
Me too.
Let him play every day for 2 weeks and see how it goes. What's the worst that could happen? If he's struggling, you still got Delino, and you'll just throw him out there. But it looks like Oscar's going to get the chance to come back. Oscar was so good last year. Hopefully, he took a deep breath down there and got himself mentally back in a good place, because you could see it in the way he was swinging and his body language. He just wasn't feeling it. He was really struggling. So I'm somewhat hopeful there that Oscar will find himself. But I think what you're going to see is Naylor, Mercado, and DeShields in center, and the Naquin Luplow platoon. Although I personally, Tyler Naquin should play every day, lefty or righty. Doesn't matter. He should be. It's like that top six should play every day. It's the top six, and then 7, 8, 9 is like a revolving door at this point.
I mean, if Luplow plays against Naylor has struggled hitting lefties. He's a left-handed hitter, so
okay, so he can platoon with Naylor.
Maybe Luplow faces lefties. I mean, he's been terrible. So lefties, righties, it doesn't really matter. And again, it's small sample size. We got to remember these guys have only played 40 games or whatever it is, so
right.
Not even. It's been a struggle, the offense, to say the least. Friday was fun, and certainly Franmil got it going. And look, the week was okay. I mean, we can sit here and complain about the offense and the Dolan's cheap, we're trading all our starters, but this team's tied for first place. The White Sox have been smoking hot. The Tigers have been hot. The Twins are still good. It's not like they're a bad team. And here the Indians sit in first place with one of the best records in the American League. And I love what the bullpen did Saturday, Todd, and that went over the Cardinals. They just hung in there, whether it was Ollie or Whitgren or even Brad Hand at the end. Karinchak had his little hiccup the night before, but Saturday.
Saturday.
But other than that, the pen's been good too, and I love adding Quantrill to that pen.
Absolutely, we could always use one more arm out there. Who's been. We talked about him last week, but again, Phil Maton is just what a find. And by the way, that's another guy we stole from the
Padres. That's right. Yeah.
He's been unbelievable out there. He was great again this weekend. So I personally think that the pen is in really, really good shape. The starting rotation right now is in really good shape. It's just, if they can just scratch some runs together, they'll be fine. And that's just the biggest deal. And while, the deal here is you got yourself a guy who's going to play corner outfield every day, and another guy in Hedges who's going to come up and be the backup catcher. I don't know how much that improves the offense. I got to see Naylor play every day and see if maybe this is he finally gets his shot and he thrives here. But yes, I'm disappointed that they didn't add another bat. But when you look at the minor league guys, Arias could be your shortstop of the future. Miller is could be a nice role player for you. This people love Cantillo. I mean, I've heard that I'm reading all this stuff about him. Extremely mature. Big Arsenal mix at a very young age. So I'm not going to get the jury's out. This is a long-term trade more than it's a short-term trade, and whatever they're going to have to do offensively, they're going to have to do it basically with this group, which is 6 guys who play every day, and 7, 8, 9, and pray for rain or whatever they say. I don't know what they're going to do there. Naylor, with Naylor in the catching position, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not super excited. I'm not upset in any way. I'm glad that they added some pieces, and I wish they would have done more.
I don't disagree, and I think that another outfield bat would have been good for me. God bless Delino DeShields. He's a 4th or 5th outfielder. He's not a starter every day on a championship team, in my opinion. Now, again, hopefully Naylor comes on. Maybe if Roberto's bat starts heating up, maybe Mercado comes in and does some things, and you won't have to worry about things like that. And here's the other thing. Francisco Lindor does not hit the clutch. NOT does not. And those guys have still got to carry the team. Carlos Santana's getting better. He's starting to hit a little bit more, but there are those games, especially Saturday's game, which was just ridiculous that they ended up winning. But 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Second and third, one out, can't get the guy home. Lindor can't even move a runner. When you start a runner in extra innings on second, and I know he's hit a couple of balls on the screws lately that have been lineouts to center field and stuff, but move the runner like that. Those are little things that when you get into a best of three in that first round or whatever, the Indians have got to do better. And again,
that game Saturday just
unbelievable.
Drove me nuts.
It was insane.
It was like, how many more chances can you screw this up? And it's like every time we screwed up, the Cardinals were screwing up even worse. But
what was Molina? What was Molina doing on that last play? That is amazing. Amazing.
He didn't even move. It was ridiculous. Again, we made terrible base running mistakes, and they made worse base running mistakes. It was wild. But when you come up in extra innings, and it is a man on second with nobody out for your 3, 4, 5 hitters, and they don't even move. And again, Frankie's a franchise player. We love him. He's one of the faces of baseball. He's hitting like 175 with runners in scoring position after hitting 202 with runners in scoring position last year. And he's still the man. I love him. I wish he could stay here forever, which he won't. But if your stars are not delivering, this team can't win. So he's going to have to pick it up. And I think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. And I think that's not helping. No,
it's not at all. All right, we're brought to you by our friends at BreakingT.com. We'll tell you about Center for Advanced Dentistry in a second, but I was talking to somebody today, my buddy Dave Klonke that I work with, and I said, you got to get this home run pitch T-shirt. I was telling about Jose Ramirez, about how the guy doesn't really say much in English except home run pitch. But the home run pitch T-shirt, the James Karinchak Wild Thing shirt, the Bieber Fever shirt, you guys see them everywhere. You're like, where do we get them? You go to BreakingT.com. They've got it all. They've got Brown stuff, Cavs stuff as well, Indians, all the other stuff going on in Major League Baseball, NBA too. And if you use the promo code TRIBECAST10, you get 10% off your order. I sent a Jay Cronenworth T-shirt idea to one of my buddies that coached him in high school here. It's in beautiful St. Clair, Michigan. They make them nonstop. Whatever's hot, whatever happens with an NFL team. I told you last week, Todd, with the Lions, people said they're doing this whole thing with their offense and dagger time. So they made a T-shirt in Honolulu blue and silver. It's cool. So go to BreakingT.com. But get the Shane, the Bieber Fever shirt's awesome. The Frankie front flip shirt, the J-Ram one, and also the newest edition, the James Karinchak shirt. Wild Thing Karinchak 99. Use the promo code TRIBECAST10 and get 10% off of your order with our friends at BreakingT.com. Go on the website. It's easy to shop. Whatever you need, use that promo code BreakingT.com. Promo code TRIBECAST10. All right, so we got to look ahead a little bit to this week, Todd, but, Tyler Naquin, since when did your love and hate affair with him is pretty epic,
It has been a roller coaster between me and Tyler. That is for sure. In 2016, when he first arrived and he was so good, I won't lie, I really enjoyed him. And then when he was figured out, and in October he couldn't hit, although he did have a big hit I believe in Boston in Game 3. I think he had an RBI single in the ALDS. But the book was out on him. He had a hard time, laying off those high pass balls, which he still has a hard time with. But then he lost me forever when he didn't take control in Game 6 in the first inning, which I've told the story many times on this podcast.
Complete meltdown.
Full-blown meltdown in the stadium. Yes. And then from that point on, I believe I said he's dead to me. But he's the best outfielder on this team, and it's not even close. And he's a hitting machine. And does he take terrible routes in the outfield from time to time? Yes. But he does have that cannon arm. What game was that when he had the relay? It was from right field
to Santana.
To Santana, gunned someone out at home. Was that this week?
Yeah, it was was it against the Twins or Cardinals?
Yeah, I think it was against the Twins. Yeah, regardless, he does have the cannon.
Yeah, they got a rise at the plate. Yeah, Luis Arise. Yeah, it was against Minnesota.
But right now, he is hit in, I think, 9 of 10 games safely. He's easily, he's a guy you got to play every day, and he's actually been very good in the clutch. He came up with the game-winning RBI double on Saturday in extra innings when no one else could seemingly come through.
Right. You just had a feeling when he was at the plate that he would deliver. And you brought up a good point texting Jeremy and I, why not just walk him and put him on?
I don't understand why he would see anything when you're 7, 8, 9,
blows.
Hasn't been getting on for a month and a half. I mean, it was absurd. I just want to put him on base, but, Mike Schild obviously knows that I do. More than I do. So, but yeah, you got to play Tyler Naquin every single day from this point on. I believe he doesn't need to platoon. He's been really spectacular. It's pretty crazy that he's been this good, all things considered. He's hitting against right-handed pitching this year.
300,
340 with a 354 on base percentage and a 992 OPS.
He's been really good, and he's come up in the clutch, like you said. And the biggest issue with him, and he's 29 years old, former first-round pick, finally kind of coming of age. But anytime he's played since 2016, he's been fine. But the issue's always health. He always finds a way to get hurt. I mean, last year's injury in Tampa Bay was, an effort thing where he flew into the wall and smashed his leg into 10 pieces. But it's always been some weird injury. Started this year. They really, really missed him when he fouled a pitch off his toe and broke his toe and was out like the first month. But if he can stay healthy, and again, under team control for 2 more years after this, not making a ton of dough, it's like that's the kind of guy that, man, it lengthens the lineup. And, he hitting the 6 every game, he's delivered. It's been fun to see, but it's not something that I think he's gotten a lot of ink is how important he's been to that outfield.
How about these numbers? With runners on base, he's hitting 409, 9 for 22, with 11 runs batted in, with a 1.413 OPS, okay? With runners in scoring position, he's 6 for 10. I've never seen an OPS of 2.167. He's over 2,000 OPS. That's pretty good. And 5 of those 6 hits, 4 doubles and a homer. So he's doing it. It's great to have him back, and he really helped this lengthen, like you said, lengthen the lineup. It's really been huge, him coming back, having him back in the lineup. I can't believe that I am speaking this glowingly of him, but he's basically the first and only first-round outfield draft pick that has panned out for this team, as we've talked about on this pod many times.
Many times. It's been an issue. I mean, this franchise just cooks up starting pitchers. They keep coming out of the refrigerator and out of the pantry. But as far as outfield, I mean, it's just it's been a cavalcade of crap. Going back to the DeLucci-Michaels platoon. It just is not.
Oh my God, the worst.
It just hasn't worked. There just is. Having to move your second baseman to center field in the playoffs years ago. Was that 17 when they put Kipnis in center?
It was 17.
Yeah. I mean, that's an indictment on the organization not having somebody that could patrol the outfield. So hopefully Josh Naylor is one that can come on. Hopefully Oscar comes back up and is the Oscar from last year and not his sophomore year now where he's hitting below 200. And then all of a sudden the lineup gets a little longer. But Franmil Reyes is going to have to see pitches now because Tyler Naquin's hitting in that 6th spot. And that's huge, But, this is how the offense has gone. Friday night you score 14 and then 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday.
Yep. And you know what? It's also going to be on Naylor. To step his game up. So I'm very intrigued. I'm thrilled for Naquin, and I'm very intrigued to see Naylor getting his shot. I know there were a lot of other names out there that I know a lot of people wanted Clint Frazier to come back, and I wanted Starling Marte, obviously, but this is what we got, so let's ride.
I don't think that they were ever bringing Clint back. I think that Tito's a bit of the godfather, and I think he looked up one day and years ago and said, this Frazier's a pain in the ass. I think he told the front office that Bauer was a pain in the ass. And I think Clevinger has, shown to be a pain in the ass, whether it was, some of the comments that he made on Twitter to his baby mama, whether it was, the sitting down at the dinner table with Bauer talking about how he was going to have to become a leader, and then the bullshit that he pulled in Chicago. I think probably Tito, wherever he is right now, coming back from surgery, is, certainly texting or calling Churn and Eddie and telling him, good, I'm glad he's gone. Bit of a headache.
And I'll tell you another thing that deserves mention. Sandy Alomar's done a really nice job with this team. This
no
is
doubt.
Not an easy thing. And this isn't an easy thing to walk into. He's managed more games than Tito has this year. Between everything that happened with Plesac and Clevinger, Tito being in and out and in and out, and having to manage the pandemic and keeping these guys in line, it says a lot about the respect these players have for Sandy. Definitely his standing in the clubhouse. And I always think that a lot of times when a guy is and this is true in most sports, players just seem to respect guys who've played more than the guys who haven't. I mean, it's not like it's not 100% the case. Like in the NBA, the Miami Heat, Eric Spoelstra is like a god in Miami. These guys all love him. He didn't play in the NBA, but
he was a video coordinator.
Popovich, right? But there's just something about when a guy has played that they just have this respect because he's been in the clubhouse as a player and he's been through the wars before and all that. So the fact that this all happened, and you remember when this all went down, Sandy was managing, and they went in, and I can't remember who it was, but they swept someone. It was after they lost to the Cubs twice, and then they went on the road and swept a 6-game road trip against, yes, it was Detroit
and Pittsburgh, yeah.
But they won 6 games in a row on the road in the middle of a major come to Jesus crisis.
And they were
huge blow-up team meeting right before the series started in Detroit. So you got to give credit to Sandy. He's done a really nice job.
Then they were tight games. Some of these games, and the Indians have always had to play tight games because we're not scoring, but the way he's handled the bullpen, when he's bunted, when he hasn't bunted, Naquin's come up a couple of times in key spots with a runner at second and nobody out, whether it's been extra innings or whatever, and they're like, oh, why didn't you have Naquin bunt? He's like, no, the guy's been swinging the bat. So it's not an easy ship to steer for sure, and he's done a heck of a job. And you hope that Tito gets back. He's still the man. But look, 21-13 with where they are and where they are hitting-wise, yeah, their rotation's not going to be as good without Clevinger, but his numbers were down. The velo was down, albeit 4 starts. And now you're asking the other guys to step up, and be very interested to see how Plesac looks because he's pitched so well before all this BS took place, and he'll pitch tomorrow. We'll kind of go over that in a second. But, Todd, what is Dr. Ben Hornstein from the Center for Advanced Dentistry? What do you think he thinks about this deal today?
Here's what Dr. Ben texted me right before last night. He wanted to know what was going on and had I heard anything. And then Dr. Ben sends me when the trade happened. Is this real? And then he sent me a screenshot from his daughter who wanted to know about it, and she wrote to him, good trade, and he wrote back, don't know. And then her response was, ask TD.
That's great.
How good is that? Yeah. So, So in the meantime, Dr. Ben, he's very excited that the Indians are doing their best to improve themselves both now and in the future, just like he improves himself ongoing, and he's thinking about the future over at the Center for Advanced Dentistry over off of Chagrin Boulevard in Orange Place. You got to check him out at cfad.net or at CFAD Beachwood on Twitter. As I told you many times, nobody likes going to the dentist, but when you go there, he just puts you at ease, and his people, everybody there, it's a very relaxed atmosphere. And now, during COVID, he has come up with a very safe system where you text when you're there, you come in and you get into your own pod. He has the air filtration systems. Everybody is masked and shielded up. Everything is super sterilized there, as always, but they take extra steps to make you feel even more at ease and taking great care of you and your family. So if you need a dentist on the east side, you live on the west side, and you keep hearing me talk about it, who cares? It's worth a 30-minute drive to go see Dr. Ben at the Center for Advanced Dentistry. So check him out at CFAD Beechwood or at CFAD.net.
All right, so the Indians are going to play baseball tonight. No longer with Mike Clevinger. I saw some of his comments, by the way, and saw some of the videos. This is where I want to be, dude, and all that. He's going back to Cali, and Greg Allen's going back to San Diego, too. Which
is great for Greg Allen. I will always love Greg Allen. He's a great dude, and I hope he thrives there.
But Clevenger's saying like everybody's been on the trade block for the past year and a half, or I don't care about that stuff. He's not wrong. This is the situation.
That's exactly.
This is the truth. This is the truth of our situation. This is the truth of our current situation. That's what we are.
It's fine.
I know.
It's fine.
I know.
Listen,
I'm not going to jump on that one.
He didn't Yes, he said they've been shopping everyone here for the last year and a half now, and yes, that's true. But he, for the most part, took the high road. I saw him say a couple things to the effect of, I made lifelong friendships there, and yada, yada, and they gave me my shot. So whatever. You know what? It's not like he went, and torched the place on his way out. And he knew the writing was on the wall. He did this to himself.
But the Indians have won 11 of the last 15, so they took 2 out of 3 from Minnesota last week and 2 out of 3 from St. Louis. So this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Kansas City, all 8:05 Eastern starts, and then back home Friday and Saturday, 7:10 against Milwaukee. It's been a bit of a disappointment this year. Everybody liked the Brewers in the offseason with Yelich and everybody else. And then Sunday at 1 o'clock. So Shane Bieber's back on the mound tonight. What can you say about this dude? I mean, he's the ace, and against the Royals, Brad Keller, who is pretty decent actually.
He's been good for them. Yeah.
ERA is 2.08. So this could be one of those. Sorry about that. Uh-oh. See, that's the beauty of the. Oh yeah, that's my second screen. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. But Brad Keller's been pretty good for them, so that's tonight's matchup. Tomorrow night, Zach Plesac is back, as Todd announced earlier, against Jacob Junis. And then Wednesday, Danny Duffy, who we saw opening day, the lefty, against Tristan McKenzie, who will make his third start. And if anybody thought, McKenzie would just be up for a little while, I mean, he's in now.
He's in. Oh, we're all the way in with Tristan. I like it. Doesn't it seem like, by the way, that Danny Duffy has been on the Royals for about 10 years? It's probably been like 6, but it feels like 10.
Do I put the Royals feed on tonight and take a little bit of a taste of Rex Hudler or no?
Beaver and Rex Hudler.
It might be it could be Physiak too. You never know. Sometimes
Physiak, I forgot. He's been, by the way, 10 years on the.
Danny Duffy's been there 10 years. That's insane. That's insane.
It is insane. He's a 10-5 guy, Danny Duffy. I thought there was one year that he was like Cy Young good. I remember because I had him on my fantasy team. The guy was awesome. But more importantly, Wednesday night, I can't wait to see Tristan McKenzie. You think the missus will enjoy a little Tristan McKenzie, Danny Duffy
on your anniversary? Happy early anniversary, by the way.
Hey, babe, no dinner tonight because we got to watch Tristan. You know what? The great friend of the pod, Jeremy Bilski, said to me, doesn't he remind you a little bit of Pedro, early Pedro, with how skinny he is and how hard he throws?
Yeah, I don't disagree. By the way, breaking news. Are you ready? I forgot to divulge this. You're going to be out to dinner or wherever you're going for your anniversary.
I'm going to be out to dinner. I don't go out to dinner anymore.
Not even sitting out. What about sitting outside?
No, I'll be on the deck in my on the new patio furniture.
I heard about that. Confirm that from Mom last night. But
yes, Mom enjoyed herself on the new. She was the first person to sit on.
How was that sushi?
It was excellent. Ordering it was even more fun.
All right, here we go. So anyway, breaking news. Are you ready for this one? Think about this one, all right? I'm dying, right? I got to be down at one of these games coming up when the Indians are here in the unnamed city. How about this? Friday night, September 18th, I'll be at the Detroit Athletic Club, the DAC, sitting outside on their deck overlooking Comerica Park.
Oh, with Tribe Tigers?
With two other couples. Awesome. Now, I rarely go out couples, and I don't like people, as you know. So I finangled this with these people that have been like, hey, we got to do dinner with you and your wife. I'm like, okay. And they're like, how about the DAC? I said, wait, how about outside? How about September 18th? And they're like, okay, cool. Well, who's playing? I said, the Indians. They're in. So I will watch them live, albeit it'll be kind of far away in center field.
Is it like center? Did I see that the last time the Indians played the Tigers, on the Tigers broadcast, did they show that? Oh no, it was the Pirates. Is it like center field, like dead center field?
Dead center, kind of far back and high up, but hey.
Well, bring some binoculars.
I'll be there. I mean, that's considered being at the game. So I'm excited. Anyway, all right, so over the weekend, Brewers, Carrasco against Corbin Burns. Pretty good young pitcher Friday. Saturday, the nemesis, the lefty, Brett Anderson. He always throws that slop against us, against Aaron Savali. And then Sunday, Bieber and Woodruff, Brandon Woodruff of the Brewers. But Milwaukee's been a little bit of a disappointment. I don't know how much you follow them, but Yelich got off to a really slow start. But once you get to the ninth and Josh Hader, forget it. That guy's been unhittable. He's been the best closer in the game this year. But again, you're playing below 500 teams now for the next 11.
Until the 11th when you play
the Twins. I mean, the next 11 games, 3 with Kansas City, 3 with Milwaukee, the next week 4 with the Royals before going to Minnesota. So got to take advantage right here.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a month left of baseball. That's the thing. The playoffs are right around the corner here. So, and again, the Indians are going to make the playoffs. And I don't know if seeding really matters and if you're trying to avoid anybody, because it's basically all these teams in the American League. There's not, the Yankees are so banged up and they've been playing so poorly that it's kind of hard to know, just who's going to be available for them and where they're going to be. But right now, the team with the best run differential in the American League is the Twins. I mean, not the Twins, the White Sox. And the second is at plus 42. The second best are the Indians at plus 40, followed by Tampa. So, if the playoffs ended today, I don't know, how you figure out, they list the Indians as the first place team in the Central.
Right.
So if the playoffs ended today, the Indians would be the
third seed.
Would be the 3 seed against a 6 who would be either let's see. So it would be either the Yankees
or maybe the Twins, no?
Well, no, the Twins would be 7 or 8. So the Twins would be
I think the Blue Jays are 8.
You know what? I want to play the Astros so bad, and I want to. Let's beat those fuckers. You know what I mean? Those cheaters. I'd love to end their season.
I still think
that sucks.
I know
that they did not get a season of ever going into every home park.
Oh yeah, no one's talked about it. And then even early in the season, a few guys got beaned, but other than that, it's gone away. They've gotten a free pass. They've gotten a free pass.
Total crap.
Yeah. All right, we're wrapping this up. We're 53 minutes in, but all right, man. So the deals are done. Here we go. Let's start winning some games, and hopefully Naylor pans out right away and can hit a little bit. But again, left field's just been a black hole for this team. But for Todd, I'm Matt. This has been the Dairy Brothers Tribecast. Let's get some dubs. What do you say?
Sounds good.
See ya.